of people live in a state of discontent and really trying to figure out how they're going to get what they want to get, but they're trapped in the cycle of doing things that cause them to have the life that they currently have and don't realize that to actually make lasting change and real honest movement in the right direction takes something else. And we're going to frame this through the mindset of the Be Do Have framework because it outlines everything you need to know about how to create a new reality within your life. And so today I'm going to start with the question of who are you? When nobody's around, when you have absolute free time, when you could do anything your heart desires, who are you? And depending on how you look at this question, you may end up thinking that this is a really cool person or this is a person that I really don't like. When you take a third party perspective into who you really are when no one is around, when no one is watching, and when nobody has any clue what is actually true. Now, the reason I say that is this: you need to be able to look at yourself and get to the root of those things that you say, this is just the way I am to. So if I were to say, let's go work out, and you're like, I hate the gym, and I'm like, why? And you were just like, I am that way. I've never liked the gym. I'm not the type of person who enjoys going to work out. Then that question needs to be geared towards you, where it's like, do you really just not like something? Is that truly who you are, or have you not developed a love for it? And so we need to start back at that question of who are you to really get a deeper understanding of where this needs to go. So the reason I said that everything is a cycle of perpetuated action that you continue to fall into is because of that very sentence. That's just the way I am, or this is how I've always been. When people make statements and claims like this, it's telling me and the rest of the world that you are a person who believes that you have been this way and you always will be this way. So no desire, no thought, no action in the other direction is going to make any change because that's who you are. And that's why the Be Do Have framework is so important, because when you look at what you are, who you are, or who you're being, you can look at the things you're doing and the life around you to understand the full equation. Because what you have is dictated on what you do, and what you do comes from who you are or what you simply do for no reason. A prime example is for me, I purposely and even without purpose go to workout. I've been a lifelong athlete. I've played sports since I was 3 years old. I still have memories of getting a concussion playing indoor soccer because I stepped on top of the ball thinking that I could do some stuff from fucking Shaolin soccer. Or, yeah, I think that's what it's called. But at the end of the day, because I always worked out, because I work out when I'm sad, I work out when I'm mad. When I have nothing to do, I'm gonna go work out because that's just the way I am. I am a fit person. And so once you start looking at what you have, what you do, and who you currently are, then you can start to truly make change, because this is how it works. Once you know who you are and how you are, the things you currently do, and the life that you have around you, you're able to make the shift of saying, okay, since this is the life I have and these are the actions I take, if I become a different person, if I think a different way, if I go about looking at the world from a new perspective and a new lens, then it will allow you to be able to actually go and do different actions, because everything stems from what you think about. The root of who you are is simply your thoughts. Think about it this way: if you were to die today, then who you were, your body will remain here. But who you were, the thoughts that went through your head, the thing that caused you to make the decisions you make would be completely gone. That's why when someone passes away, we talk about they were this, even at their funeral when their body is right there. So you are not your body, but who you are is currently your mind, your mindset, your thought process, and everything that encapsulates everything that controls your body. Your body is simply a tool to do things. So we have to start with the mind. We have to start with our mindset. We have to start with our thoughts. And once we can start to think different ways, react to situations in different ways, and really begin to shape that, then our actions will follow, and so will the life we have beyond that. And so that's how the Be Do Have framework breaks down and truly works. You change who you are, you change who you're being, and then your actions follow, and your life soon does after that. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit. But the main reason that you need to be able to use this to be able to shift your reality is because once you're able to actually know who you are, you can create a completely new character and play that person in your life, and you'll be able to change the reality you have around you. You could think of Conor McGregor. He once was a blue collar worker, and one day he decided, I am going to be a fighter. I am the UFC champion. I'm going to go far. I'm going to make a lot of money from doing this. And he quit his job, dedicated his life to getting in the ring and fighting his ass off every single day. Before he was the UFC champion, you could go back and look at interviews from, I think it's like 2013, 2014, where he's saying, I'm going to be the UFC champ. Like, he'll say, I am the UFC champ. He talked about driving around to the mall in Dublin and him having his very own specific parking spot and living through that experience. His mindset, his thought process, and the way he went about looking at life became completely different. He started playing a new character in the movie of life, and everything started to flow because after he changed who he was in his mind, his actions changed to follow suit, and so did the life that he currently has. And so that's what I'm going to be teaching about today, where it's how are we going to create a completely new character for your life, help you integrate that character into your life, and actually begin the life that they should be living. And so the first thing is first, we already talked about it, but you need to understand and dissect who you currently are, how you currently are, what you do, how you think, and everything included. Because when you can know all of these things, then you're able to paint a new picture and actually morph the reality you're living. And so since we already went over that, now we're actually going to start looking at how to build that new character. And the first process of that is find a dream outcome. Think about the life you want to live. Everything to the teeniest, tiniest degree. The wife, the kids, the job, the career, the income, the cars, the home, the anything you want to imagine. You want to write it down. You want to have such a clear and concise idea of what this life should look like that you're able to close your eyes and actually visually imagine it as if you're living it in the moment. And once you have that dream outcome, you can begin to build that character where now you're going to start going over character traits based on who your wife is, based on how your family is, based on what your car is, based on what house you have, your income. There's specific character traits that you must have to be able to have that character trait. So for example, if I in the future want to have a six-pack, then that means I'm a fit person. And if I'm a fit person, that means I'm consistent in the gym. So I'm a consistent person. I'm focused. I am dedicated. I am ambitious, whatever it may be. And so you want to go through and look at everything within your dream vision and see what quality or what trait of a person would have to have in order to be able to attain and maintain this thing. So for example, I want to have a lot of money. I want to have a high income, and I want to be able to truly not care about what I'm spending, not look at the receipt, not look at what's being purchased, just being like, here's my card and it's good. And so that means I need to have extremely tight financial management skills. So for me, I've had to learn that because the character I want to play is extremely financially literate, I have to learn and read books, and I have to figure out how to build offers to sell things. And even at that point, if I want to be extremely wealthy, I have to be able to sell. And so I took a job specifically to learn the skill of sales. And over the span of, I want to say 4.5 months, I sold upwards of like $12,000 in PT and made over the span of this entire time frame about 25,000 or so for my gym in recurring PT revenue. And so because of that, I'm starting to enact and have the character traits of the person that I personally built. From there, you need to start looking at what standards this character would live. because we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. And so there needs to be strict, strenuous standards that this character has that you can use as a bottom line for you to know if you're being that person now in the present moment, so that you're able to actually live that reality when you're, you know, in your prime, once you've actually began to live that life. It's all based on the standards. And so from right now, while we're building out this character, you need to know what their standards would be. You need to know what their standards for their friendships would be like. What are their standards for income? What are their standards for investing? What are their clothing standards? Like, it's something shallow, but at the same time, how you look affects the rooms you can get into. And so if you can actually have a standard for your level of dress, so that even then when you're going out to buy new clothes, you can start buying more and more clothes that line up with the reality, the future, and the character of the person that you're becoming. Then when you start wearing those things, you'll look like that person and you'll feel like that person, so you'll start to continually do the things that person does. And that's why the standards are so important. If we can raise your standard, we can raise your level of life. If you say my absolute bare minimum standard is $10,000 per month in income, and you start working your ass off to the point where you make that $10,000 a month in income, and then something happens and you drop below it, under no circumstance are you going to accept that. You're going to get back to your basic minimum standard and put yourself in a position to have all the money and the comfortability that you feel as if you need. And so that's why your standards are so necessary. From there, you need to start looking around and really imagining, okay, if this person has been able to make it here, if this character has gotten to this point in life, from their viewpoint, what are their goals? What are things they're trying to accomplish? And what things have they accomplished on the way to become who they currently are? And this is arguably one of the most important aspects, because one, as you look at what they have accomplished, then you make those accomplishments your current goals, so that you can begin to walk through the storyline of the character in the movie of life. So for example, for me, I want to have an undying personal brand. I have a personal manifesto, which is going to be something we talk about in a second, but I want to have an undying personal brand. I want to show my life story and my life movie so well and so much that people come and support me for me. And so on my journey, I know that the person I am gonna be, they're gonna have 150,000, 250,000 followers on Instagram, 250,000 subscribers on YouTube, hundreds of people within their Patreon. And so now my goalpost, my accomplishments along the way to becoming the person I want to be, is simply, okay, I need to get my first 100 subscribers. Now I need to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. Now I need to get to my first 10,000 subscribers. And because I know this person in the future has already accomplished it, that means I need to go and reach these certain milestones in the current moment, so that I'm able to get myself where I want to be and do the things I want to do. And that's the purpose of knowing what they've accomplished. Now, from that viewpoint, I also have written in, what is this person trying to accomplish now? I know the person I want to be will have $35,000 in recurring revenue coming from people paying for whatever I'm selling at the time through YouTube. That and that understanding that YouTube. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay, cool. So if I have that understanding and thought process that I'm going to be making that much from YouTube, well, in that present moment where I currently have that, I'm making that type of money from YouTube, then the big thing is going to be, now I'm probably going to be wanting to shoot for 50,000 or 100,000 of monthly recurring revenue coming specifically from YouTube. And so if I can start framing my mind, if you can start framing your mind where you're like, I'm going to start thinking as if I was already this person, and I'm going to project out new goals and new accomplishments for the character I'm creating, who's worlds ahead of where I am now. Then it gives you a mind frame and a mindset of, this is where I'm going to, and this is what I need to begin understanding how to accomplish. And if you can do this well enough, you may be able to actually jump even further ahead and make accomplishments along the way that this character you're currently creating is trying to achieve in that moment of your life. And it's kind of a weird concept because you're looking to the past, to the future, and in the present. But this is giving you a holistic view of how life is. You're getting to create who you are, who you're becoming, and you're getting the chance to really shape everything from today, at least for me, June 22nd. And so once you have all those things growing and understanding, and you simply get in all the goals, standards, and accomplishments that you need, then you're able to start making a personal manifesto. And so a personal manifesto is simply an essay of who the person you're becoming currently is. And so you want to write this out using the character traits, using the standards, using the goals, using the accomplished list, using the accomplishments list, and using the goal to accomplish list to make a full on essay about who you want to be, how you want to be, and the life you want to live. And so for me, this ended up being like 10 pages. Like, there's pictures of the type of clothes I want to wear, an apartment complex in San Antonio that I want to own. It has a house that I want to live. This is like a vision board with an essay of what everything actually means, breaking everything down in such deep detail that I've been able to actually just imagine what that life is. I'm able to actually feel like how that Terrell is. And I listen to that personal manifesto all the time. And so, what is the purpose of this personal manifesto? The purpose of this personal manifesto is to really make everything as concise, simple, and understandable as possible. You want this to literally become a novel for you to read so that you can have such a deep and clear understanding of the life you're going to live, of the future you're going to have, of who you are supposed to be. That when you read it, you get excited, but also more than that, when you read it, you're actually able to say, okay, I've accomplished these things, so this is what I have to do now. This is supposed to be a roadmap to where you're going, but also a step by step guide of what you need to do in the current moment. And if you want a deeper understanding of how to create this, I have an entire course on going through all of these with workbooks and different things so that you can do the step by step process to get from just a dream vision all the way through to a personal manifesto, a plan of action, and a way to track your progress. And all those things come together. So if you want it, look at the link in the bio. It'll be down there. Just click that button and go ahead and get yourself moving in the right direction. But why is a personal manifesto so important? I've broken it down in a couple different ways. I keep coming and circling back to this, but I genuinely can't get over the fact of the personal manifesto helps you internalize this. So people believe in manifestation, and people believe in the ability to write affirmations over and over and life is going to change, or you're able to say this 9 times, write it down 6, and repeat it all out loud 3 times, or something like that. The 3-6-9 method. And all those things are great. I've tried all of them. They've all helped in a sense, I guess. But what's different about a personal manifesto is it genuinely is just a map, a goalpost, and it holds you accountable to your current everyday actions. Because for me, now that I have my personal manifesto, any day that I'm not living in alignment with it, I feel bad because I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. It's the simplest way to tell me if I'm going in the right direction or not, purely based off the fact that I know everything. And I don't know all the people I'll be around, the specific thing I'll be selling, and all these other things. But for example, in my personal manifesto, I've written down that I work out 5 times per week. And if I skip the gym, I'm going to go for a 2 mile run. And if I choose to not go for a 2 mile run, I'm going to do 200 push ups, 200 sit ups, 200 body squats, 10 minutes of jumping rope, um, and I think 200 calf raises. But any day that I don't go to the gym and then concede running a 2 mile and then concede doing the push ups, the circuit that I have planned, I know I'm just not being the person I'm supposed to be. I know that I'm failing to be the character of the movie of my life. And so I know I'm delaying the progress to getting where I want to go. Even with these YouTube videos, I was working so hard trying to figure out exactly how to do everything right. And the main reason that I'm just sitting down and talking to the camera in the way that I am now is because of the fact that I was listening to my personal manifesto all day, every day during work this past week. Like 8 hours a day, I'm going through building houses with the this long 10-page personal manifesto going through my ear. And so many things started to change, and I really realized, like, when it comes to YouTube, I'm trying to vlog, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to script that, whatever. In that, I literally said I'm not gonna edit videos. I'm gonna just sit down and give my raw and honest thoughts and opinions that I believe can actually change people's lives. My raw, honest opinions and thoughts that I think can change people's lives. That's all I'm supposed to be doing. And so I realized I'm doing more than is necessary. I need to stop and actually just sit down, get in front of a camera, and talk, give my honest, raw opinions. And with this, it's allowed me to really dial in. Even then, in my personal manifesto, I wrote down that I have to have a CPA, a certified personal accountant. I don't have CPA money, but I'm getting one. I talked about how I wanted to have a coach, and I decided to go get one. Now I have a coach, not only for trading, but for sales, for life. I have 3 different coaches. I'm trying to find as many mentors as possible because it's in my personal manifesto. I'm starting to change how I'm dressing. I'm looking to actually go order some clothes to dress how I dress in my personal manifesto. Because I've been able to listen to this personal manifesto, I'm starting to see life in a way, I'm starting to see life in the way that Terrell from the future should. Because that's all I can really think about. When I'm outside, I hear something random and now I'm like, I need to make a YouTube video about that. And the personal manifesto truly encapsulates who you're supposed to be, so you get an open view, an open source journal into this is what life is for me. There's no questions, there's no confusion. You have a purpose. Live this life and become the best I can at living it. And that's why I personally think the personal manifesto is such a powerful thing. And so now you have all the steps, you have all the sauce. If you just do this one thing, success will go in a far different gear for you. If you can create your character, read your personal manifesto every day, or better yet, how I go about it, which is listen to your personal manifesto over and over and over. Make it your new favorite song. You will be able to transform everything about yourself. You'll be able to transform everything about your life. And I'm starting to experience it myself because with this going through my ear so much, I'm feeling urges. I'm fiending to actually make the changes that I say the Terrell of the future is going to have, because I know that's me. Like, I feel it, I see it, I know that I'm going to experience it. And you guys get to watch the entire journey here. So if you want to see me actually bring my personal manifesto to life, if you want to be able to hear my personal manifesto, then hit that subscribe button. When I get to 100 followers, or maybe 250, I'm going to decide soon. I'm actually going to read off my personal manifesto so you guys get an even deeper understanding of what my life movie and my life journey is going to be, and we'll get to enjoy it together. Now, you stay smart, stay safe. I love you. Have a beautiful